So in the last class we were talking about file handling. That too, in that file handling, we are talking about binary files. That was the last topic, and today we have to talk about the topic pickling. So that is the topic we should discuss today. Let me share my screen. Hope you can see my screen now. So let's get into the topic now. So we'll try to complete today this files topic. Mostly we'll bring this to a closure. So let's see this. What is this pickling actually? This is a very simple thing, but this is very important for development as well as for interviews, friends, even for certification exams. So pickling means simple, friends. So it is nothing but implementing serialization and deserialization. Serialization means writing an object to a file or some and otherwise converting into a byte streams to pass through a network. And deserialization is the opposite process of serialization. So serialization we can call it as marshalling, and deserialization we can call it as unmarshalling. So this is quick idea. So you can see why we need this quick link here. Sometimes we need to send some complex object hierarchies over a network, or save the internal state of your objects to a disk or database for later use. And if you want to do this, you have to implement serialization. So if you want to send some objects through network, this serialization helps us because serialization helps to convert this object to byte streams. And to implement this, what is that? In Python, we are going to use a module called as pickle module. So the purpose of pickle module is to implement serialization and deserialization. And we know what is the need for serialization now. Just now we had a quick discussion. Next, after that, what is serialization here? It is converting a data structure into a linear form that can be stored or transmitted over a network. So simply speaking, so in one line, serialization is nothing but converting your object into a stream of bytes simply. That's all, friends. Simply speaking, and deserialization is opposite form of that. The reverse process, which takes a stream of bytes and converts it back into a data structure, is called deserialization. Converting back to the original form is nothing but that deserialization or unmarshalling. That's all, simply speaking. Okay, how do you implement that in Python? That we implement with a module called as a pickle module. Suppose if it is Java or something, there will be this serialization is implemented with something called serializable interface. But we don't have the concept of interfaces, but we use this. We have already built-in modules. And here it is much more simpler than Java or C# or C++. So now, what is this here? So when you talk about pickle module, what pickle module does is that it is a way to serialize and deserialize Python objects. And it serializes Python object into a binary object. So due to which it is not human readable. You are also doing a kind of encryption when you do serialization. The advantage with serialization is because if you want to answer entries, these things quickly help us. It is faster and also it works with custom defined objects. Okay, and for this Python pickle is the best module. That's all, friends. If you don't need a human readable format or if you need to serialize custom objects, then definitely it is recommended to use pickle module. This is quick idea about this pickle module. Simply speaking, in one shot, see, just a simple thing. If you want to serialize an object, means convert that object to some kind of uh, stream of bytes, then we apply this pickling. That's all. Right? For that, we use this module. Next, what is there in this module? Simply speaking, these are the methods that are present in this module. for us at least to do these file operations. One is pickle.dump and second one dumps and then load and loads. Dump is more or less doing a kind of write operation, and load is more or less doing a read operation, simply speaking. And these are the four methods what we have. We see an example for all this one by one. Okay. So you can see here. Dump means what is that? Generally, when you are doing a kind of file kind of operations, then we apply dump. And load is even opposite to that. It is used to deserialize, oh sorry, this is used to serialize an object, and this is used to deserialize an object. This is also used to serialize an object, and this is used to serialize an object. Difference is here, we write, when you apply dump, we write object to a file. You can see that. Okay. And load, we read an object from a file. Dumps is completely converting an object to serializable format. And loads is again reverse process of dumps is that. So it converts to the again back, it converts back that serialized object to the original form. So that's all. Simply speaking, dump and dumps are like write methods. Load and load are like loads are like read methods. Simply speaking, that is the idea, friends. We'll see that with a quick examples so that it gives us a quick idea. Right. Next after that is the anyhow you can see that this is already discussed. So the first two methods are used for pickling process. Pickling in sense serialization. Here the word pickling is nothing but simply speaking serialization. And the other two are used during unpickling, means deserialization. So only difference between dump and dumps is the first create a file containing serializable result. Simply speaking, the first dump is applied on a kind of a file kind of operations, and second is nothing but it returns a string. We'll see that this scenario with examples. This is only a quick idea. And similarly, same concept is applied for load methods, load and loads. Okay, let's see this with examples more than all this theory, right? Let's do one thing. Let's apply an example and see that. This is a simple example where we are applying pickling. You can see we are importing that module pickle. Can you see this here now, here, friends? What we are doing, we are importing the module pickle. So now in this pickle module, what is that we are doing? Just we are taking a dictionary with key value pairs, and then we are opening a file here. You can see here, which is nothing but data.pickle, and we are reading it, and we are writing in a binary form. And what is that? Whatever data we have here, if you see this, that we are writing simply saying pickle.dump into a file, into this data.pickle. And this takes two parameters. What is that? That object itself, okay, and then that file pointer or that file reference, whatever it is, we can say. So this is not difficult because we already implemented many of such examples so far. Maybe let's do it quickly. So what is this now? We are doing a pickling. That pickling is done with this is the serializable process with doing a dump operation. So let's take this now. Let's do one thing. Copy this. Following friends. Next, right click, and then here you can take this example. Pickle dump. Just it was written as so you do one thing. So there should be a refactor and rename. So just change this to dump and then click on refactor. Yes. Now you can say import pickle. Okay. Now what is that we should do with open? You can give the file name here as some data dot pickle. and take the file path. Actually, file path is important. We want to save it under BI data tech, right? So I'm passing this file path. Else that is created in the current directory, that is file handling here itself. Okay. So I want to store place. So then finally comma. We are doing a binary operation, right? So it has to be WB. So that's all. As you provide some file name, some PKL file. Okay. So that's all. Colon. Now what is that you should do? Is this read operation or write operation? So before that you need one data structure. So you can take directly that data from here itself. So copy this, come here, paste it here. So we can write anything. It's not like you should write just a dictionary or something. You can write a list or set or tuple or anything should be fine. Even a string. Only just a quick idea about what is that. Even a class object, anything should be fine. Okay. Now after that, simply we can say that pickle file dot. So what is the method we should apply here? Dump here. Okay, sorry. Pickle dot. If you are applying pickle, you should use pickle, not pickle file. Pickle dot dump. You can pass this object to this. It's so simple. See there, we are not doing really anything, something really difficult thing here. And similarly, call that pickle module. From that call dump, pass this data object and then pass this file pointer. You can take this file pointer and pass it here. Okay. Okay. Copy this, paste it here. And finally, if you want, you can add a simple print statement saying what is this? Write success. Okay. Now right click and run this. Definitely pickle file is created. Now you can go to that this thing here. So where is this data? Something should be here. E drive BI data tech. Okay, sorry. I didn't provide proper formatting here. So let me rerun this again. Write success. Now you can see here data.pickle. Suppose if you open and see how this file look like. Let's see this. So open this and see this. So you can see this is a bit not definitely understandable format. Here and there we can see something name Alice is something, but most of this data is encrypted here. So that is what this pickling does here. What is that is the serialization does. It just changes that whole data to some other format so that it is not readable. Mostly it is not readable. So this is serialization. Got it right, friends? Then deserialization is the opposite of this. We'll do that here itself. Okay. Again, what is deserialization? We did serialization, right? So you do one thing. You can, before that, I'm just sharing this code with you. You can try this. So what is it here? Just sharing this with you. So this is serialization process. Simply speaking, this is a simple deserialization. Sorry, simple serialization. Now, after that, copy this. So next example is this is writing or doing a serialization with the dump. Again, opposite to that. Suppose I want to read that data from data.pickle file. Simply what you have to do. Again, this is write operation. And we have to use load. Simply speaking, right click new Python file. I just name it as pickle load. test. Okay. Now simply what you do is just copy this file thing. And if you are reading a binary file, what do you do? Instead of RB, WB, you put RB. Read bytes, simply speaking. Right? So other things are same. And now before this one thing we should do, what is it? We have to import that pickle module, because if we should do pickling, this pickle module is must for us. So import pickle, and then what is that you should do, friends? Open that file, whatever we created this data file here. Okay, where is that? Yeah, this one only. This is the pickle file. You can see it's showing PKL file, right? So it's a binary file here. Now after that, what do you do, friends? Now use that module pickle dot, you can say load here. Okay, load of. So here we have to pass that pickle file as a pointer. Okay, and if you want, you can assign that to some variable after passing that file pointer data equal to, and finally print that data. Okay, let's run this and see what would be the output. Okay, now you can see here perfectly we are getting that. So see, to load that, these steps are very simple, right? What is that? Just a 2 to 3 lines of steps here. Open file and then read that file and provide a alias pointer reference, and then just call load method, pass that reference to the load method, then automatically it will read that object and assigns to data. When you print that, you can see the dictionary object as output here. You can see this. This is about what? Reading data through, or this is the deserialization process. Simply speaking, this is unpickling. Simply, I think this concept is unpickling. Okay. Or this is technically we can also say this is deserialization. Okay, if you are from Java or C# background, what is this? This process is deserialization, converting back from so serializable format to human readable format. That process we call this as deserialization. And this one is we are converting it to serializable format. So where we convert human readable object to some encrypted format or stream of bytes which is not human readable or not quickly understood by humans. That is serialization. So this process we call it as a pickling, or we can also say this is actually a serialization. Okay, friends. Or the other name is marshalling as well. If you hear all these names in interviews or somewhere, all comes under the same bucket, friends. So you can give this similar answers for same answer for all this. Okay. So that is the idea about by looking at this, you can easily understand what is happening here with serialization or deserialization. Another interesting example is how do we apply dumps and loads. So come here. Let us see this now. Example. Another example is applying. Okay, say this. This one example has both things in one shot. This is again applying what is this here? Dumps or loads. It's a simple process anyhow. Okay, just let's create a simple class. Okay, and then let's write that object to this thing. Let's do that. Instead of copying pasting, we'll go step by step so that it's easy to understand quickly. So second example is pickle load, right? Let me share this code with you. Copy this. So you come here. All right, code snippet. Come add this. Add. Now next one is dumps. Python file pickle underscore dumps. Okay. What do you do here? You can simply say import pickle because that is the module we need if you want to perform serialization. Now we are performing here pickling and unpickling in one shot. Okay, unpickling. And here first we are creating a class some. Okay, we can just take test here. Okay, colon. And in this you can add some variables, some a equal to 10 and b equal to some uh, otherwise some name equal to something like test. Okay, and third some data structure here, something like you can say some data equal to, you can add some data 1 2 3 4 5. This is enough to test this, because how many ever you want you can add all that to this class here. And even we have classes in Python, we have complete OOP discussion, object oriented programming. So definitely you'll get a much more detailed idea there. But you can add much data here, like how in the example, you can see there are so many examples. So maybe if you want, you can add a tuple as well. But we are not, see, point is we are applying at class level, not at variable level here. And generally in class, we don't just directly create variables like this global variables. We generally create most of the time instance members through methods. We have to declare variables inside methods, not like this. Just for testing purpose in today's session, we are creating a class like this. Okay. So we can see we have a couple of data time and couple of data inside this class. Okay. So now we want to implement what is the concept here, pickling. But before that, create an object t equal to some test. Okay. Otherwise, my just create my test equal to test. So we create, this is creating object and this is creating class. If you don't understand anything, ignore for now, because we have very detailed discussion about OOP, objects and classes. So if you don't understand this, please ignore, friends. So we don't have any this thing to understand. Just remember how to create class and how to add some data, how to just create object. Just follow these steps. Now this is your object. We have created object here. So my test, this is a reference. Actually, this is creating object. So test creates object, and that is assigned to the reference my test. So now what is that I should do? My requirements is whatever I need to do pickling and unpickling, I have here it. I have that here. I prepared prerequisites here. I need a class object. I have that here. Next after that what? So simply again now pickle concept. Pickle dot dumps of, you can just simply blindly copy this and paste to this. So here what is happening? This will do this thing here. This will convert the object to this format. What format? To serializable format. So that's what it does here. Okay, so you can just assign it to some variable. So my pickled object, just for reference, you can just take like this. Okay, and if you print it, I doubt this is a human readable. Second one after that, once generally, once we do that, we pass it over a network, doing some network programming, or we write to a file. Just now we did write how to do file operations like that. And this is already a serializable object because we applied dumps. Dumps internally convert this whole object to a serializable format. Okay. Now after that, next is unpickling. So what do you do? Simply you can say pickle dot loads. Okay, loads of, pass this object to this. Okay, and here just assign it to copy this one, sir, and just assign that here, and you can simply say my unpickled object. Okay, and then just copy this, print, put it here, and just print it here. So this is a quick process of what is that? Object serialization and deserialization are pickling and unpickling, marshalling and unmarshalling, friends. In both of these, what did we do? Just we applied dumps, passed the object to the dumps method, which is serializable. Then again, we are doing reverse process of deserialization. We call loads, passed my pickle object to the loads, and we converted it back to that, and then we did this process. Now right click run this, you can see here. In the first case we have here, this is, you can see you are not able to read anything here because this is a, this whatever here we have here printing, it is a serialized object so that it will be completely in non-human readable format, encrypted format. So that's why we converted it back. You can see this is actually a serial, I mean deserialized, right? So this object you can see here, test object is deserialized. Suppose if you want to have something from this, then this is perfect. You don't need to worry about anything. Suppose if you want some data from this, then you can simply say that my unpickled object, maybe if you are expecting values, you can say something like, so that that A or something. Let me just run this. We can call on reference as well. You can see here 10. On that reference, on that object, you have to call this variable so that that gives you this data from that. The point is we are not looking at field level here. We are looking at object level. These are all fields, right? So we are not looking at field level. We pass whole object, whole this thing as an object, deserialize it. And that whole object again gets deserialized. That's what happening here. Calling at variables and getting data, all that you can do here. Okay. So this is the simple idea, friends. Similarly, you can call name data tuple, dict and tuple, and you can check your output, friends. Now, what do? You can remove this here. Okay. Right click to run this here. Okay. This is the idea, friends. This is the idea about what? The, all these methods, which, what is that? About all pickling concepts, all different, four different methods of pickling. You can see all this dumps, loads, all this is discussed. So this is very useful for interviews. So please prepare it well for interviews, friends. Okay. Now I'm just sharing this code with you. So let me just share this. Next after that is we're done with pickling. Next scenario is working with. You can see here one more last topic here is handling CSV files. So in this file processing, now already we know we are much familiar with file things about all different reads, writes on regular files. And then again, we had discussed about handling binary files and then pickling and then again reads and writes with the CSV. So CSV file means most of us know. Suppose if you just look at this, this is a CSV saved with dot CSV extension. Even I just we just have few examples. You can see this. These are all CSV files. You can see this comma separated files. Okay. So internally that encoding changes that cell when we say CSV, when we say Excel, all that. And if you want to read CSV and write CSV, we have a module, built-in module in Python. That module name is CSV itself. And that has just four methods here to do with regular reading and writing and to do with a dict format read and writing. So if you simply see that, I'll just show you in one shot. So if you see in a CSV, we have these four methods, friends. Okay, let me just show you. We are working with CS. You can see this. CSV reader, CSV writer. Dict reader, dict writer. These are doing a simple regular reading and regular writing of CSVs. Okay, these are doing reading data in a dict format, writing data in a dict format, like dictionary format, simply speaking. These are very simple to understand again. Let us just apply this and complete this quickly now by end of today's session. So what is this reader here? Simply, we can just have you can do one thing. You can take a data set. I'll just share that data with you now. So you can take anything here, even this one. I'll just show you how to do from the scratch itself quickly. Already, most of you are expert in all this stuff, okay? But just sharing you. This is the data set we need, a simple data set. Open a notepad. Simply, quickly do this simply. If you are already familiar with that, open a notepad, paste that data set inside that notepad and save it as that something like employee.csv. And here choose all files and then just say save. Okay, just save it. This file is saved into which one, friends? Into that, this data is saved into that file and stored into that location. Now let us start applying these methods. What are those methods? Reader, writer first. So what do you do right now? So come here, create a file, new CSV underscore test, enter. If it is already there, you can do one thing. New CSV file underscore test. Okay, no problem. Now close, remove this. What is that you should do? You should do import CSV. We don't need to install these modules. These are already existing modules, built-in modules. There are certain modules, if they don't exist, we should install them. I'll show you that. But for the CSV, for pickle, for these kind of things, these are built-in modules. So we don't need to install them. They are by default available. In case if you see that you are trying to use some module, if it is not present, try to install it. That's all. Okay, I'll show you how to do installation in the Python. Also from the command itself by using pip command. Okay, now we created this. What is that now? With the open, just we need file name. Okay, if you just need file name, what is that? You can just copy from somewhere already we have created, right? You do one thing. You just copy from here. We created employee.csv. Okay, so you do one thing, come here. I'm doing it step by step because I can just copy and paste the existing one just to have that clear picture of each step. We are again redoing it, that's all, friends. Otherwise, we can quickly copy paste it and complete the topic. So pass it here. You just need to say employee.csv and then comma. What is that? You can just say sorry, we are doing read, right? Read mode as CSV file, something like this colon, and then now what is that you should do? Call a reader. Now we are doing already we have file in this location. We have a file in this location. What is that we should do right now? We should read this CSV file. So that we have to issue a read command, not write command. So if we should issue read command, don't call reader method on file reference or file object. Call reader on this module. So what is that you should do here? Some data equal to or some emp data equal to CSV dot you should say reader. It's a very simple process. If I directly apply CSV dot reader, then at this stage we don't have any connect between this reader method and this employee.csv file. The connection between these two is this file object that you pass to the reader. Now we have a connection. Now this reader object know from where it should read this data object. So reader goes to the CSV file and then just fetch that data from the CSV file and assigns to the employee data, this variable employee data. Now you can do one thing. You can simply just say print emp data and then right click run this. Now you can see we got a CSV reader object. Now, if you know that this object is already there, then simple thing is just iterate that for data in R for row in EMP data colon. Correct. Just print what print of row here, friends, and right click and run this, and you can see this. You got data. To get that whole data as a maybe you do one thing. What is that? It is a CSV reader object. Simply speaking, it is a reader object. Iterate it, and it internally it has all this data. Iterate it row by row and fetch that data. Here you can see here. So this is simple way of creating a CSV reader. I mean reading a CSV data and then printing that data or displaying the data. So you can try this example. Okay. So let me share this code snippet with you. Now after that, so what is it, friends? We are able to perform reading. Now we want to write something to a CSV file. Okay. So next operation is what? Save. We need to write something. Simply speaking, what is that? Copy this. Again, this one. And here change this, what you are doing here, right? And then after that, as CSV file. Okay. To do this write operation, we need two methods. You can see here in the code, already existing one. Just showing you quickly to make you. One is to do this, we need a writer method. Let me show you here. One writer method, see this. And then once we issue a writer method, on that again we have to apply write row. We have to again write row. So means what is this writer here? So if you see this, that writer object converts data into a string and stores in a file object. That is what we need here. Okay. So that's what we need this. And second step is once we get writer object, on top of that, we write each row to a this one. Right. And this functions writes items in which format? In a list or tuple or string, separating them by comma separator, comma character. Okay. So if you are doing a write operation on CSV, what we need? Either we need a writer and write rows together. And one more is write rows. Means if you want to write group of objects, I mean group of lines at one time, then we can apply write rows. So when we see example, we understand all this in just in a few quick minutes. Okay, and this is the example we have here. Let's see this example. You can see this. What we are doing here, we are just creating, you can see, a list of tuples in the form of, you can see here, each tuple has three different columns. Name, so some number and should be age. Okay. So now what you are doing, you are just having a list of tuples. It can be anything, even it can be a dictionary. And then this is simple. If you want, you can apply new line with some space. Okay. That is okay. Just for formatting purpose. And then after that, what is that? You have to fetch, you have to get this writer object on this file, whatever you are trying to writer, get writer object. Then what is that you should do? We have to write each row by row from this list here to this file. Which file? To CSV file. If you want to apply write row, we have to call write row on writer object. First we get writer object, and from writer object again we apply write row. It's a step-by-step process. I'll do one thing. I'll just create a step-by-step code so that you understand it clearly. Step 1, create prepare data. Step 2, open file for writing. Step 3, get the writer object. Step 4, apply write row on each of this list of tuples. So I'll do one thing. I'll just break down this into two parts, this one, so that you understand it better. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll copy this, only that particular part, okay, and put it here. Now let's write this here. I'm making this as a heater, okay, so that, and here also I'll make this as something like all, okay, something like Trump. So now,
Really so sorry.
sorry, ma'am, is it, is any question to me, ma'am? Okay, I think if it's not to me, it's fine. So let's create this. Let's keep it commented for now. I'll do one thing. Now, what is that? Some tester data. I'll write it as data.csv just for testing purpose. Now, after that is we have to open this in write mode. Second thing, we have to call step 2. Let's directly pass data each row. Okay. Step 2 is what, friends? It's we should get a writer object. Get writer object. I am giving you a step by step. So then write object, write underscore obj equal to here CSV dot writer. Okay. If you just create like this doesn't do anything, friends. This writer and this file should have some connect. That connect happen through this file object. Take this file object, pass it to the writer. Now we have a connect between this file and this writer object. So when you apply writer on this file, this writer issues a write object. So that we got it here inside this. Now what is that we do? Call this writer object. On top of this apply write row. Okay. And now you can simply pass this whatever data you want it in this format. Okay. Now you can copy this here. Copy. Then pass like this. Okay. And similarly, you can do one thing. Copy this. Pass it here. We have to pass data here in right row in this kind of iterable object. It can be a list, or it can be a tuple, or it can be a dictionary, or it can be a set or something. But it should be a iterable object. Okay. So this I'm just showing you how to pass each row by row directly, so that it's easy for you to understand. We are done with this because this is with open. We don't need to close it. It will do auto closing. So what I do here now after this, finally, what we just simply say write printer. You can simply say write success. Right click and run this now. Now you can go to that file. This is clear, right? Step 1, we are getting writer object. And step 2, we are getting write row object. Okay. And this writes that actual data, each row, one row into a file. So these were the steps. Simply speaking, open a file, get writer object. How do you apply? Just simply use this module CSV on that, call this writer. pass this file object to this, that returns writer object. On that writer object, call write row, and this allows us to write one row at a time to a file. In that way, you can pass how many ever rows you want. And we ran that code already. It's showing write success. So go to that this thing test data somewhere. You should see it. So not seeing test data. Maybe I did I create it properly? Yeah. So you can see that here already created. Yes. And you can see data is created like Peter, Trump, and John, and then this one and all that stuff. Okay. So that's the idea, friends. This is how we can create data to a write data to a this one. Is that clear? So this is about write operation. Next, so we did a check with these two things. What is that? A regular reader, a normal reader, and normal writer. And we have tested both examples. Okay, so we can see here with the regular reader and regular writer. Even we have seen the scenario as well. You can, if you want, you can add a header like this, but this header is also like a row, any other row. Okay, so what you can do something like, but this is like directly applying like a row, something like, okay, you can say this as if you want to create a header, some name, and second one is okay, some ID. Okay, let's give it as ID, and third one something like age. Okay, if you run this now, right, even this is written to the file. Now you can open this again. Okay, name, ID, and age. You have this as well. But even that is also, that header part also, we write it as a row into this file. Got it right, friends? So simply apply a write row, pass whatever the columns you want to have in the file, and then apply write row again and pass that data. Right, same thing we can refine that. So if you don't want like this we can refine. Now you open this. We can create a list of tuples instead of writing each one object by object. Okay, like this. Okay, we can just iterate the list here. What is that you can do? Some person in persons colon. What you can do now? You can simply call this right object, right row. And to this right row, you can simply pass this person. This is another approach of writing. This is much more simpler, right, than all this stuff. Okay. Now right click on this. Uh, okay, I got it. So do one thing. Close this first of all. Now right click, write success. Because that file I did open, so that was the issue. So now I closed it. Then write is successful. Again, same data we are passing. If you want, you can change that data. Peter one. You do one thing. Let's have all. Okay. I just changed that data set. Okay. Now let's make this. So one approach is directly writing row by row. Second approach is using a looping approach. So if you have too many records to write to a file, always loop is the best choice for us. So right click, run this. Okay, this is successful. Go to the file, open that. You should have almost 6 records probably. See here, Peter one, Trump one, John one, something. Got it, friends? This is the idea about write operation. So let me share this code with you. Excuse me, friends. Next after that is, so let's finish off there's two more things so that we are almost done with files. Okay. So these were the coverage we have here. So if needed, we'll try to add one or two file handling scenarios related to some JSON or any other thing. But this is the overall idea of handling files. This is how we can do. Next, after that is we are done with this, friends. Let's see, create one more file. What is that? Dict test. Okay, dict file test. Dict reader, dict writer. Simple. You do one thing. You can take any file of your choice. Suppose CSV file tester. Take this employee.csv. Okay, come here. Not just employee. Copy this whole file scenario. Simply here, if you are applying dict reader, you can see this one. Okay, just a minute. We have that here. Dict reader, just simply call that dict reader. That's all. And what dict reader does here, it returns the whole data in the form of dictionary, in the form of key value pairs. Read that file. Read each row in the form of key and value pairs. So that's what it does here. So when you see the example, that gives you more idea. Okay, here we are doing read operation perfect. One thing you should do in this is you should import that module CSV. Okay, then just simply call some EMP data equal to that CSV dot. You should call which method? CSV dot. You can see here dict reader. Now we don't have any connect between this dict reader and this file. So what is that we should do? Copy this file pointer, pass it to the dict reader. This creates a connect. This establishes a connection between this file and this dict reader. So what is that? This simple reference. Now, right? If you print it, what is that you get here? You get employee object as CSV dict reader. Now run this. Now see this. Now run this. See, we got a dict reader object. We are not seeing data from that. If you want to see data, what is that you should do? So let me try to convert the list and see if this gives you list of dictionaries. Let's see that. Yeah, see this. Okay. You have, when I say, when I converted it to list, this is one approach. Got it right, friends. Huh? So you can see that all list of dictionaries that was read from the file. And you can see here. So see how this mapping beautifully done, that whatever the header is there, that column name is mapped to value when you read each row, right? And this is a beautiful formatting so that this doesn't confuse us and helps us to retrieve data in a very positive format. Got it right there. And it's a very properly formatted data. This scenario helps you, friends, definitely. Okay. So this is one thing. And if you want to reiterate it for row in EMP data colon, if you want, you can print again row by row. This is directly iterating a CSV reader. Okay, friends. So right click, run this, and so might be probably you do one thing. You just okay. Now you run this. You can get row by row here. Got it right? You can follow any of these two steps. That's up to you, friends. Okay. So finally, what is that we should do? This is about dict reader. What dict reader is doing? Whatever data you have in the file, this is the employee, and the data inside look like this. And what's happening? It is reading. Dict reader is reading that data and then converting it into a dictionary form, where here the key is always, what is it here? The key is always the column name, and value is value of each row. Got it right? Value of that particular column. Okay. So that is the idea, friends. So see, this is much more formatted. This is idea about which is that dict reader. And finally, the last example in this discussion is, let me just pass it. Okay, this is dict reader. Last one, what is that? Dict writer. So next one, dict writer. So dict writer is also simple here. Let me just, the dict reader is over. So next one. Here, like writer, we have write header where we have to prepare that, map the columns there, and then just a minute, friends. Okay. Anyhow, we can call directly write header, and before that, we need one more thing we need to do is we have to prepare data. This is important. So what we can do, we can go step by step here. We can see the example here as well. So what you can do, just open a file. We need a header part, and then we need this dictate writer that takes three parameters here. You can see here. We'll go step by step. I'm just only seeing that, just verifying the steps we are following here. Okay, we'll do one thing now. Let's copy this file. That is enough for us. Copy this. So now dict file test. Okay, take this. Next step two is prepare that header part here. What is that? Header equal to some name, comma, okay, age, comma. I'm just preparing header here, comma, some cell, just three things. Now, what is that you should do? Call that dict writer. So for that, call csv dot. Okay, we should use uppercase here. Dict writer object. To this, we have to pass a file pointer. We have opened a file. We'll do one thing, just employee underscore demo file. Okay. So we just creating a file, and we have to copy this emp file, and you copy this and pass it to the dict writer. To this, you have to pass header. To pass header, we have you can see header parameter. To that, we should set the header itself. Okay. So then finally, if you want, are we adding anything else here? We need to pass a delimiter. If you want that to, what delimiter we are applying, that we should pass here. See here, friends. One more thing we just need to add is delimiter. These are commas. This is a comma separated file. Just pass that comma here. Okay. So that's what here this dict writer does. So you can say something like dict underscore writer equal to. So on top of that, what is that we should do? Dict writer dot. You can have here a write header. Okay. And apart from that, what is that you can do? Once we create write header, this will write as this whole thing as a heading to the file. So we can add, if you want, you can add more columns to this header. So that first we are defining what column names should be there in the file. So name, age, salary, gender. You can pass whatever you think is best fit here. Okay. So this is step one, opening file in write mode. You can see that, and then create a header part. This is simple. The header is for defining all the column names. And then what is that? Next call dict writer, which takes that file pointer, and then we have to set pass header to this header parameter so that this dict writer knows what column should be there in the file. So again, you understand why we are creating header. We map this column names while writing data. And that gives you dict writer object. On top of that, say write header. Then after that, what is that? You can say dict writer dot. There is one more. What is that? Now again, write rows. So I believe we follow the same. So you can see here. So here also write row. What is, but the point is you have to write like this. How something like you have to create a dictionary, and first thing something like this, some name colon, some John, okay, comma. Next one after that is you have to pass like this. So second one, some age colon, something like some 30 or 40, you can give something like that, and some sal, right? These are all strings, so we pass it as a string itself. Age colon, sal colon, you can just pass it as something like some 20,000 or something, and things should be fine. So here, one important thing, the advantage of creating header is this names you pass as keys here. This name, this age, this sal, this should match with the column name in the headers. Got it right, friends? If you give small n, you get some kind of error. Got it right? So why? Because this is not matching with this one. This is something important we should follow. So now, if you want, you can add some more records, friends. Okay, just for testing purpose, you can add few more. So again, name some Peter. Okay, and then some 42 and some 30,000, something like that. So these are the steps we should follow with the dictator. As usual, this opening file is same. Prepare a header, pass that, and then pass it to the dictator. Call a write header method, which writes that header to the file, and call write row, which writes each row to the file. And this write row is mapped with the keys that are there in the header. You can see here. Now our file name is emp demo, and finally you can just do one thing. You can just say print write success. We are almost there. We will close this here, friends. Okay, right click and run this. So field names, huh? Okay, why field names we are getting here? Okay, instead of header, I should take field names here. Okay, correct. I can just type it directly, no problem. Field names should be the parameters, not header. There is a slight correction here, friends. Okay, otherwise you can directly copy this and paste it here. Okay, run this now. So write success. Go and check in the file. So the file name is emp underscore demo. You can see that perfectly that data is written here, John. Okay, and then Peter, all that here. So this is the idea about dict writer, friends. So we okay, just we did step by step so that to get that clear idea about on each step. That's all, friends. Otherwise, we can take the help of already existing code. So this is overall idea about all different file things, friends. Probably we try to complete all that file topic. Okay. So if anything is there, I'll get back that on that. Maybe on the next 3 days, probably we don't have classes due to this thing. Shiva sir, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Sir, can you please inform on that thing, sir?
Yeah, I'll remember. Yeah.
Yes, yes, sir. So this is about all this one, friends. So that's all about this thing. Shall we stop here? Let's